David Griffin. What is up, my man? Welcome to TV Talk, everybody. This is your show for TV, all things TV, and some sports and movies every now and then.
We dabble.
We kind of want to talk about what we want. We got to talk about what we want. This is a first for us, David. I had to delete and ban a user and comments before a show actually went live. Shout out to Loud Fan, dude. Your harassment of me isn't going to get you anything. I'm sorry, man. Like, not going to acknowledge it. Not going to acknowledge the comments. You're done. You're banned from this channel. There you go. David, I messed up last week. First of all, it's great to see you. You're the best.
It's great to see you.
It's great to be here every single Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, or whatever time zone you are in the world. So we got a couple of really nice Streamlabs last week, and I didn't see them until like until the show was over. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to do a Streamlab, which I pinned the Streamlabs there, it helps support the show. You can support the show right here on YouTube and give us a super chat. Just tell me so I can go look at that window and read it, because I don't want to miss your Streamlabs. So first, from our buddy First Rate Nate, just wanted to show my support of the show. Love it. Thank you, Nate. Very generous of you. And then from our buddy Troy, who does this pretty much a Streamlab every week, and we really appreciate you, Troy. I know you'll get to it eventually, but True Detective, I didn't watch season 3, but so far season 4 is the best since the first, right? I love the line they're walking between possibly supernatural versus just really freaking creepy, weird, maybe sciencey stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm very intrigued by this. I think we talked about it last week. I have yet to watch this week's episode because we are knee deep and almost finished with season 2 of Gilded Age. I do want to talk about that for a while because I have some questions, David, and I want to know your answer.
Josh, I am not in season 2 yet.
You're not even in season 2.
No, I am. I watched season 1. I watched most of season 1, and then I got distracted. But I love it. I still love it. I'm going to continue to watch it. But season 2 is great, just like season 1 is great. It's more. I have some questions and some jokes, more or less. But I will say for the first 2 episodes of True Detective season 4, which we're calling Dark Country, right? It's Dark Country? No, Night Country.
It
is dark. It is also dark. That is also a true statement. It is dark.
It's very dark. It's the 5th day of night. I did start episode 3, but
it's almost Christmas. I think it's like Christmas? December 23rd.
I did notice
last
that
episode.
date.
It's almost Christmas. We're getting there.
Well, I did see, I kind of noticed that. I guess I didn't really pay attention to the date in the first couple, but I did notice Christmas lights everywhere, and I was like, Christmas time. This would have been a lot better had it come out like December. I would have, maybe with the strike. If the strike doesn't happen, we get that then.
Yes,
right?
And I was gonna say before I see Damon has a super chat there. Before we get to that, I am not a Reddit person, but for those of you out there, if you want to see some really cool theories about the new True Detective season, the Reddit community has gone bonkers for this season because there are ties, which I think some people have called out in the comments before, season 4 to season 1. I think the family they mentioned that is I forgot what the name is. Someone in the comments can point it out, who's backing that secret, that laboratory up there. That name is one of the founders or members of the cult from season 1. Like, there's a name, a powerful name that has a lot of money that's putting resources into this lab up there. So there's all these connections. It's crazy. Sorry, Tuttle. Thank you, Tuttle. And thank you, MK Songbird. Yes,
the True Detective subreddit is awful when it comes to talking about this season.
Okay,
awful meaning are they trying to spoil stuff, or like awful being they're the most annoying like predictions. Like what was that stupid show on HBO that I hate?
Westworld. Westworld.
That awful show. I shout out to Jesus Payne, who said thanks for recommending Boy Swallows Universe. Did you happen to start that, David? It's really good.
Wait, sorry. What did they say? What was the recommendation?
Boy Swallows Universe on.
No, I haven't watched that yet. I know you said you liked that one.
Highly recommend. Shout out to our buddy Damon R 1974 for the super chat. Thank you so much. Help supports the show. A lot of my friends are recommending Slow Horses. Worth jumping in. David, Jesus, take the wheel. Go.
100%. It's one of my favorite shows on TV. Last season was one of my favorite shows, top 10 shows of 2023. Anything with Gary Oldman, you can't go wrong. Every season is adapted off the book. The books are still going. They're already in production on season 4. It's been greenlit for season 5. The Slow Horses train keeps rolling. I love
Yeah.
that we get a new season pretty much in under a year. It's fantastic. It reminds me, it's like Reacher. It's the British Reacher. I mean, it's different. I don't know if you'd call it dad TV.
That's not dad. It's not too dad TV, but it
But
does have some dad vibes.
It has that dad vibe, like older dad vibe, maybe grandpa, maybe it's grandpa TV.
Grandpa TV.
Old kind of like Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, but with a little bit more action, a little more going on. I love it. Yes, please watch. I suppose.
I'm going to start season 2, I promise. I bucked up and a shout out to Kingsport Cal, good to see you, buddy. How dare you, Westworld season, it was tight. It was a tight bag of trash thrown into a garbage pile of trash television.
I love the first season, and then they started trying to outsmart Twitter, and it got too weird, or Reddit, and then it got too weird. But
how dare you, sir?
I enjoyed season 1. I like the Robits in season 1.
Okay.
I'm a Tandy Newton fan. I support Tandy Newton. She was very good.
Oh, I'm a big Tandy Newton. Yeah. Sign me up for the Newton fan club. I'm all about Tandy. Okay. I mean, Randy Tandy, I'm in. Okay. It's Tandyland, David. That should be the name of her podcast. If she had a podcast, just call it Tandyland. I'm going to start season 2 of Slow Horses, but I bucked up and I bought the AMC Plus add-on to my Amazon Prime so that I could watch Gangs of London.
Yes.
4.5 episodes in, and I love it. It's just so up my alley. Besides the like gratuitous, weird, like heroin den scene in season 3 where I was like, I don't need this. But it's
a little intense, over the top. So
yeah. I mean, you know, the thing about like gangster shows sometimes is I feel like there's a lot of like melodramatic acting that you don't necessarily need all the time. Like sometimes I think some of the actors overact, but it's not so much so that it's going to take me away from the show. I'm also just like, is it?
Yeah, I mean, Cole's character is so monotone.
Yes,
he's just the same, and he's a guy. He has levels. He's a good actor. I like him. He's great in Peaky Blinders. He has another show called Small Light, which I loved. But here he's just like A Small Light's the show I was telling you about. That's the about oh man, I'm blanking on her name. Holocaust film about who's a girl in the attic. Why am I blanking on her name? With the journal, with the diary, Anne Frank. Sorry. So it's about Meep, who is the person that kind of hid Anne Frank's family. Gotcha. Joe Cole plays her husband, Meep's husband, in there, and he has a little more levels. But in Gangs of London, he is just like monotone. He's just
I thought I was gonna like him a lot more. I think I like this show in spite of him.
Oh, like, I'm not interesting. Okay,
he's not my favorite part of the show, and I thought he would be.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
I love the undercover cop. I love the, I mean, I don't know. I like modern day London gang stuff. Is every time they go to one of those like apartment buildings that it's like, oh, you're in Albania or whatever, they look terrifying. Like those apartment buildings and wherever they are in London, they're really drab. It's always raining. There's always like a car that like there's always just like kids outside that look like they're going to rob you. Like every time they go to one of those, it's sort of like
like The Wire.
One of my old favorite shows, Gomorrah, is the same.
Oh, Gomorrah, yeah.
Just in like because when us Americans think of London, we're like, oh, it's posh. We're in Piccadilly Circus, and then meanwhile outside, she's like,
yeah, they have the. I mean, we call it in America, call it the project. I mean, they have their low income. I mean, they have some rough areas. Yeah, in London. Like what's the show you watched that was the equivalent of The Wire in London? You watched it on Netflix. I remember you said you really liked it. I want to call it like Old Boy or something. Top Boy.
Wag one. Wag one.
Yeah, Top Boy.
Top Boy. Again, very, very good. Daniel, you mean gangsters don't actually have MMA skills like in Gangs of London, Macuga? Wow, mind blown. Yeah. All right, listen. Some of them could. You never know. Like they might. They're like the leader of like the Bloods or the Crips fought Mike Tyson in the 80s, right? He was like a gang leader, wild.
Why not?
Oh, Daniel Savuga, they call it the Estates. It makes it sound.
Ooh, that sounds classy.
That
sounds classy.
Yeah. Well, I feel like a lot of projects in America have like very classy sounding names, but they're not great. No. The actual idea behind it when they were building them was they meant them to. It meant
well.
Theory.
Yeah, but
the way it was executed and the way they built them without any kind of infrastructure around them, that's when you like just turned it into a haven for crime. Ross Bristow with the understatement of the year so far in the chat with Roadhouse looks good. Roadhouse looks awesome.
Mm-hmm. Well, Jake Gyllenhaal, Conor McGregor.
Yes.
Yes.
It's basically the same plot line as the first one, and I'm here for it. I'm, you know,
I'll watch it. Yeah.
What was like the shot for shot remake that was so bad with Jack? White Men Can't Jump. Did you watch the new White Men?
I did not watch that. No, that was a series, wasn't it? It wasn't a movie, was it? Or was it a series?
No, it was a movie. I think.
Oh, was it bad?
It was real bad. Yeah.
Oh no.
I mean, they were just ripping off.
Right.
The first one.
Right.
Which
is a classic.
It's I watched Roadhouse and I was like, and I made Amanda watch, and she's like, "Is this going to be good?" I was like, "It's not for you."
Yeah. This is for me. Yeah.
It's fine. This one's for me. This one's for me. Leo, thoughts on Footloose remake? The one with who was in that one? Like, was it
Footloose? Isn't that Kevin Bacon?
No, Kevin Bacon was in the first.
Footloose? Or is that time? You're talking about the remake. I don't know. I didn't know there was a remake for it.
There was a remake. I forget who was in it. And no, I did not watch that one. I don't need another Footloose. The first one is pretty perfect and the music is awesome. Damon R. 1974. The White Man Can't Jump remake does not exist in my mind. Yeah, we didn't need it. He gave it to us. We didn't need it. Daniel Sabuya then comes in with his not popular opinion about the new White Man Can't Jump. But yeah, I mean, I Gangs of London is it has reined me in. We've had some really good TV so far in 2024, at least like things that have been introduced to me and I've been enjoying it. I'll tell you one thing, David, is the piece of news that you put in there in the first is that season 3 of Reacher is going to be like the best Reacher book yet.
Yeah. Like I don't know anything about the books by Lee Childs, but I was curious to read a little bit about it. So new season of Reacher, we know it's coming. They're already in production in Toronto right now. But I guess if you're a Lee Childs fan or Reacher fan, book 7 is considered the best or one of the best. It's called Persuader as book 7. In season 2, so they're jumping around. They're not going in order. So for the folks asking about Slow Horses is going book to book to book. But Reacher season 2 is based off book 11.
Whoa.
So they're bouncing around.
Yeah.
But this one is supposed to be one of the best, so that's pretty exciting. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to it.
So there's 28 books in the Reacher series.
Wow.
Holy
28.
Wow.
So yeah, they can just bounce because they're basically one-off adventures. I mean, there's something he needs to save, new town, new location, and then so they can bounce around and do whatever they want. They don't have to.
He's going back to Maine, which I like. Like, give me another small town place. If you could bring back Roscoe, that'd be awesome.
Roscoe.
Roscoe
from one. I like. Yes, that's right. Yeah, right. From season 1. Yes.
You know what we need, David, that nobody's talking about is we need Lee Childs, the Butler, to merge to have like a crossover with Lee Childs Reacher. You get a Butler at the White House who also knows Reacher, and the White House gets invaded, and the Butler's like, "Oh, back to my army days."
I saw the Butler in the theater. There's not a movie. I forgot that movie so quickly. I couldn't tell you. I remember he met some famous people. That's all I remember. It was like the Forrest Gump of Butlers. He met a lot of famous people. That's all I remember.
Since I wasn't hungry but thirsty, I must have had me about 16 Dr. Peppers.
I gotta go pay.
Brian Howe asked, "Have you seen Brother's Son? Anyone watch Brother's Son?"
That's the new Netflix series with Michelle Yeoh. Oscar Michelle Yeoh. It looks interesting. It's mom in the mob. She has 2 boys. One's like kind of the good kid, or I guess, and then the other one's like involved in the mob. One's not, and then the other one gets mixed up in it. And there's a comedy and action. It looks interesting. I just haven't checked it out.
No, yeah. Again, put it in the queue if people recommend it.
Yeah.
Amanda and I are going to finish Gilded Age, and then I think we're going to try that crime one you recommended. What's the crime one?
Yes, Criminal Record. My pick of the week last week. It's still very good. I'm really enjoying that.
Okay. I think she saw like just the term criminal record. She's like, "Ooh, sign me up for that one. I'm in."
Yeah.
Apparently, according to Reefism, Lee Childs, is it Child or Childs? Lee Child?
Child. There's no S.
Oh, so it'd be like,
There's
yeah,
no
that's right.
S.
It'd be like Lee Childs, the Butler.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Lee
it.
Childs. Yes.
Currently writing a 29th Reacher book, which will be a prequel. Oh, okay. I'm into that.
29 books.
So many books.
Wow.
I don't think I've read 29 books in the last like 10 years.
No.
My last book I read was the Bo Jackson, Andrew Perlman book. Just give me a sports biography or like a sports story or sports nonfiction. It's like, yeah. Sign me up for that.
I'll read that one. I'll read that one.
We must keep an out eyes on Mr. and Mrs. Smith this week. I hear positive vibes on it. Yeah, each new preview I see kind of looks better than I watched Pen 15, and the female lead who plays Mrs. Smith created Pen 15 with her a comedy writing partner.
Yes,
and she's so silly and stupid in that show in a great way. She's like an incredible actress. To see her in something else, I think that's what maybe makes me most excited about this. I'm kind of over Donald Glover in a sense, but maybe him in this role, like I don't know. I it's not that I don't like Donald Glover. Nothing about Donald Glover gets me excited for the show. It's more her, I think.
Right. I think for me, what I'm curious about is what the show would have been if Phoebe Waller-Bridge, because it was supposed to be Phoebe Waller-Bridge. She was going to write some episodes. She was going to be the co-star. It was supposed to be her.
Interesting.
And I like Phoebe Waller-Bridge and Donald Glover together. Just seems like an interesting combo. They seem very different, but I guess Glover was a huge fan of Fleabag. Like he saw that. And his first reaction was, I should have been like, that should be my show. I should have been that character. So I would have loved to see those two together, but they left, creative differences, that whole thing. I would have loved to have seen those two together. That would have been interesting.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I loved Fleabag. I did. I thought Fleabag was an awesome show, but, and that's Phoebe Waller-Bridge, right?
Yeah. No. She was a creator. Yeah. Creator. Yeah.
I always get Phoebe Waller-Bridge, and what's the other Phoebe? Isn't there like another Phoebe?
Yeah, Phoebe Tonkin. She was in like the Vampire Diaries stuff or one of those shows.
Who's Phoebe Bridgers? Is there like a Phoebe Bridges?
Yeah, that's Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
I feel like there's
there is a Phoebe Bridgers. She's an American singer-songwriter.
Yeah. That's not.
She's a folk singer.
Yeah, that's not she's not an actress. All right.
No.
Yeah. That's completely up. I don't know how I would confuse that. Whoop-a-daisy.
Yeah, they're both Phoebes and they have Bridge in their names. It's close enough.
Oh, is this a 6 sign?
Phoebe and Bridge.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Son of a bitch.
Yes, Mr. and Mr. Smith is on Friday, February 2nd. So if any of you want to check it out, that's going to be on Friday on Prime Video.
Yeah. Oh man, Solskjaer in 1999. I haven't thought about this show in so long, but you guys checked out the Detectorists. It's a UK sitcom. It's one of my favorite shows, and it only had 2 seasons, and they never did it again, right? Solskjaer, like I never saw another season after season 2, and I love that show. It's just about like 2 bumbling idiots or maybe it was 3 seasons maybe, and they were just metal detectors. And they lived in like a small town. I think they lived in Essex, and they were always like looking for treasure on the weekends. And it's the dude. It's the little squatty guy. I think it's like it's not Toby Jones. Maybe it is Toby Jones. And then the tall, skinny guy from The Office who played the guy.
Stephen Merchant.
No. The guy that played Gareth in the British Office. He's like a tall, skinny, weird-looking guy. It is Toby Jones. So it's Toby Jones. And then the guy that played Gareth in the British Office, Dwight Mackenzie Crook, who Dwight was modeled after in the American Office. So yeah, I mean, I highly recommend it. I wouldn't say that it's like a sitcom per se. I think it's more of a dramedy. Okay. It's got the sister. She plays like a small role. The sister from Esme from Peaky Blinders. She's in it.
Yes.
It's kind of just like a heartfelt slice of life about these dudes that live in small town England and search for treasure with their metal detectors. They look like the dude, the dude on the beach he was like, he's got, that guy on the beach.
Yeah.
He's looking for treasure and he finds a coin here or there.
Yep.
I remember us being at like the beach for the first time with Amanda, and she's like, if you ever buy a metal detector, we're done. And I was like, yeah, I get that math check.
We're done. That's it.
I'm not going to be associated with the metal detector guy on the beach. I was like, yeah, sure.
Josh, when you reach your golden years, I think you're allowed. I think Amanda will allow, like when Rosie has grown and you're in your golden years, the 70s, the 80s. I think you're allowed a metal detector.
I think metal detector If you're under the age of 55, I think it's unacceptable. I think you have to be 55 or maybe even 60 and older. I think it's like a retirement hobby.
Well, I would say, Josh, speaking of hobbies, before we get into our next topic, I just want to say that February is stacked with TV shows.
Okay,
I was trying to think about things to watch, and I didn't realize how much stuff is coming out in the month of February alone. A few episodes ago, we did our most anticipated, but you can't include all these. So I like the Nat Geo Genius series. Remember they did Albert Einstein?
Yes.
Remember Antonio Banderas was Picasso and all that.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
So they're doing a MLK Malcolm X combo. They're doing about both men, about Malcolm X and MLK and their different approaches to civil rights. Okay. That's out Thursday. You got Mr. and Mrs. Smith on Friday. Curb Your Enthusiasm, final season on Sunday. Then like next week, you get Abbott Elementary. Halo's back for a second season. Tokyo Vice on HBO is back for a second season. Yeah. You get the Super Bowl on the 11th, which we'll talk about here in a second. There's this new series on Apple Plus called The New Look, which looks interesting. It's about the fashion designers. It has Ben Mendelsohn plays Christian Dior.
Oh,
you have Coco Chanel.
We saw that trailer.
Yeah, you have Balenciaga in there. All those after World War II. That looks pretty interesting.
Shogun's coming here too. Leo
Shogun's that's coming out
end of February, right?
Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'll check that out, Josh, for both of us, so we can see what that's about. Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff. Yeah, and Shogun is February 27th. There's a lot of shows coming out in February for a short month. It is stacked.
Totally. Well, David, this year it is a leap year, so it's
it's a 29th. There's a 29.
Yeah, we get 29. Yeah,
there is.
It's the purge. It's nothing matters on February 29th. We're allowed to do whatever we want.
Scary. Josh, I got to ask you, what do you think about the Super Bowl? I mean, I know it's Mahomes again, but what do you think about the matchup?
I'll be honest, I mean, the two best teams made it.
Yeah.
Right.
Niners are good.
Niners are really good. They've been really good all year. You can say what you want about the Ravens, but the Chiefs in the playoffs, I mean, it's fool me once, shame on you, fool me 5 times.
Ravens just did not show up. Ravens played strong most of the year. They even went into San Francisco and beat them.
I know.
Pretty handedly, but they just couldn't. I don't know. They just didn't have it. They didn't have it.
It was an awful offensive game plan. I mean, as a Steeler fan, I want nothing more than the Ravens to lose all the time, right? So I was happy to see it. And I love really pissing off the greater fan base because like all of the whiny people like, they show Taylor Swift too much. It's going to be Taylor Swift every time. Who cares?
Who cares?
You still get the football.
As long as the game's good. I don't care about Taylor. Yeah, as long as the game's good. Yeah,
yes.
I don't care. She's not on the field, thankfully. She's not on the field.
Yes, right? Like she's not catching passes. Nope. She's not if Travis Kelce goes down, she's not coming in for him. Nope. They're going to show her in the box a few times. I mean, to be honest with you, if she shows up and Usher doesn't bring her down for some sort of like duo for like,
they should definitely bring her down. Yeah.
Awesome. Like, hey, it would be sick. I mean, I love Usher. Don't get me wrong. But I'm excited. I'm excited for the Super Bowl. I am every year. I'll be doing a live stream for Fan Control the whole time for the Super Bowl. I'll see how many buffalo wings I can eat. I haven't had buffalo wings in a really long time. I miss them.
Oof.
I just, David, the older you get, the more you think about being a metal detector and how much heartburn you get from buffalo wings.
Yeah. We have, I was at, we're at, Costco, big wholesale store the other day, and I had a big thing of Tums on sale. And I'm like, we should probably get that. Probably get that thing of Tums. I'm at the age now where I'm looking at Tums like, that's a good deal. That's a good deal.
You know what? We should prepare. Let's prepare.
Yeah, let's prepare just in case we go out, have a little too much, maybe some spicy Mexican, something like that. Yeah. Just in case that happens, we should get the big thing of Tums, just in case.
Just in case. Okay. You never know. You never know. I mean, Daniel Sevilla Ravens fumbled that literally and figuratively. Yeah, it was.
It did. Too many turnovers. Yeah.
Too many turnovers. I think dynasties are good for sports because it brings out the haters and it brings out the super fans.
Yeah.
And I mean, Jim Harbaugh going to the Chargers, that division is totally, I mean, you have to feel for, sorry. I mean, Bills, Dolphins, and Jets all just had to weather the storm that was Tom Brady year after year after year. Now as a Steeler fan, it was like, we could never beat him in the playoffs. Nobody could ever beat him. Those all hurt. Yeah.
Oh, Josh, somebody was asking, I know I had this in our notes about The Walking Dead. Josh, will you At least, will you watch the first
Yes.
episode of the Michonne and Rick
I'm-
love story? Will you watch it?
I'm gonna watch this one. I mean, I have AMC Plus now, I guess, on Amazon.
that's right.
So I'm gonna watch the Daryl season. I think I'm gonna go watch.
It's
that.
pretty good. I watched that. It's pretty
Yeah.
good. Yep.
I'm gonna put that in the queue, and I am very much intrigued by this. They Live, or whatever they're calling it. The Ones Who Lived.
The
I
ones
like.
who live.
I mean, first of all, David, they're doing what I've been preaching for years, which is if they show it in the first thing, the long spears. They're just putting them, and there's like tell them to come, and they're just poking their brains out. We could have been done with the zombies years ago. We just gotten hundreds of long spears. What do we have in the world? We have tons of trees. They could have chopped down the trees, made a ton of spears. At that point in the world, they had seen Braveheart. Braveheart's from like the early 90s.
Hold.
We'll make spears, hundreds of them. Some be twice as long as a man. Some men are longer than others. Your mother been telling you stories about me again, boy. Like, come on. They make long spears. You put them everywhere. You carry long spears. You like make noises, and then you just whip around.
Make noises.
You should just be stabbing zombies everywhere.
Yes.
Jeff Davis, good to see you, buddy. No, I like that he's like Collider old school. I'm still talking about long spears 8 years later. They should have just had anything long and sharp. They should just put it on some sort of like spinny device, made it make noise, and then the zombies walk into them. You light them on fire. You just have big piles of zombies. Throw a tire in there, and it'll light forever. Damon R97, there's been more Walking Dead shows. There's a ton of Walking Dead shows. There's Fear the Walking Dead. There's like Walking Dead the college years. There's Walking Dead.
And the whatchamacallit, the Daryl Dixon one was renewed. It's more
coming
seasons.
Back. Season 2. Yep. Yeah. So yes, David, I'm actually I think I haven't watched any Walking Dead in just long enough that I'm now excited again to watch.
Okay. I will watch it as well, so we can talk about it. I will watch it too.
There is, however, one shot in that trailer, David, and I'm really tired of like the sweaty, dejected Rick. I'm just over that note of a character.
He's had a rough life, John. It's been rough for him.
I know. He lost Carl. He's looking for Michonne. His he's sweaty. His beard's gray now. He's being employed by the Long Spear Army. He got kidnapped by the girl with the weird hair who talks like she is like an 18th century spinster. Things aren't great. I just don't need another like sweaty, dejected Rick. Like, I'm gonna kill you. Like, I just don't need that anymore. I don't need it. I'm over it. I'm done. Yeah.
Yes, we'll talk about that.
Scott Welsh, one of the coolest things I've personally ever seen was the Wallace sword in Stirling Castle. I would like to see that. I do.
I would like to see that as well.
Yeah. 19th Damien 19. Carl has to be what, 25 now? Well, Carl died in season 10, maybe 9, something like that. The actor himself, I don't know. He's somewhere.
He's still kicking, I think. Yeah, he's alive. Yeah.
25, 26. I haven't seen him in anything since. Maybe he quit. I feel like a lot of times child actors that have been in like long running series are just overacting. Like they're done.
The guy who played Joffrey Baratheon.
Yeah.
He was over it. He was like, I'm going to retire. I don't know if he came back. I know he retired for a little bit. I don't know if he ever came back, but yeah.
Yeah. And like poor Chandler Riggs, this kid, like, when you're a cute kid, it's kind of one thing, but then when you turn into like an adult and you're not cute, like,
yeah,
it's like kind of like the kid from there's the Jerry Maguire kid, and then there's the kid from the Charlie Sheen show, 2.5 Men. Have you seen that kid now? Like, I mean,
it's not easy to make the transition. I mean, Leo did it. Leo was pretty good, but that's rare. It's very. That's why you got to be like Morgan Freeman. Just Morgan Freeman's always been old. That dude, even in the 70s, was old. He's just always been old. Driving Miss Daisy came out like 40 years ago. Still old.
Same age.
Same age.
He's the same age.
80 now. He's 80 then. He's still old.
Yeah. Jonathan, no, that Irish kid is done with it. Solskjaer 1990. I mean, here's the thing. If you're Joffrey Baratheon, that kid who played Joffrey, you can never act again in anything because everybody hates you.
Unless he gets older, maybe he's got a little facial hair now. He needs to like change his look. He's too recognizable.
Totally. And it's kind of like what's his name? The Malfoy kid. He was in like a couple of episodes of a CW series, but he's always going to be that punky little punk ass kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Who picked on poor Harry?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Gene Hackman, always old. Another one of those. Also, who else there? Clint Eastwood, always old. I watched a clip of Clint Eastwood. He was in his 30s. Looked like he was 60. Always old. Yeah, 60. Always old.
Gene Hackman, always old. Good. The kids from Goonies. Yes. Jack Gleason Joffrey was in Sex Education. Really?
Oh.
Maggie Smith, always old. She was old when she was.
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness.
Actor who played Joffrey. What's his name again?
Jack Gleason. Gleeson. I haven't seen him in a long time.
Oof, man. And he
was in Sex Education. He was in 2 episodes.
I missed that. He must have been real small. I don't even remember. Gleason took a hiatus from acting, but has since taken part in independent theater and the 2020 BBC miniseries Out of Her Mind. He's 31.
Wow.
And he's only 5'7". That's
so he's like Daniel Radcliffe. He's
Yeah. I think this is a funny conversation. Judi Dench, Michael Caine, Christopher Lloyd, all old. Their whole career.
Old.
Yeah, like the all old actors club. It's
Anthony Hopkins. Sir Anthony Hopkins. Even in The Lambs, old. He's probably like 70 there. Yeah, old.
Yeah.
Always old.
Gary Oldman, it was young at one point, but for the most part, he's been old. Alan Rickman, old his whole career. Old.
Even in Die Hard, old.
When he was Hans Gruber, he was like 28.
Yeah.
Looks 50, right? The fact that Macuga didn't recognize him is a good sign for Joffrey. I guess I just wasn't paying attention. He must have had a very small role in it because or it just wasn't right. Yeah, Patrick Stewart, always old.
Stewart, still old, always old.
Shatner, old, always old. If we're staying in the Harrison Ford, he's never been young in anything.
Even when he was Han Solo.
He was Han Solo. He was Han Oldo. Okay, he was old. Okay. Ian McKellen, always old. The dude has never been young ever in his life. This is my favorite bit we've ever done in the history of this show. Christine Baranski, old, always been old, just like she's an old lady.
Christine Baranski, Buffalo Bills fan, born in Buffalo.
Yes. She's so good in Gilded Age. She has a really good glow up in season 2 of Gilded Age, dude. Really good.
But always old. But she's
just great. always old. Trying to think of who else is always old.
I'm just going to be scouring the website.
Is it weird to say that like Bill Murray and Chevy Chase have always been old? Like they're
because even like in the first Ghostbusters, I think people just looked older back then.
Older. Kathy Bates, always old. James Caan, old. Pacino, old. De Niro, old, dude. They always they never had a youth. They never
I would say the only guy of that generation, Denzel, when he was younger, didn't look as old as like some of the other guys. Denzel,
there wasn't like a middle ground for Denzel. There was like young Denzel, and then there was just old top Denzel. That was it.
That's true.
Red Fox was 68 when he died.
Wow.
Red Fox was 68 when he was 27. He was Angela Lansbury, always old. Betty White, always old.
Yeah. All those Golden Girls ladies, some of those Golden Girl ladies, they were like weren't they like in their like late 30s or 40s or something?
Yeah.
Old.
Steve Martin, perfect. He always old.
Buscemi.
Buscemi is too weird to be old. He is ageless. He's just a weird dude. The guy John Fox or John Hawks that's in Night Country.
He's been the same age for 30 years. Yeah.
Same age.
He looks exact same. Yeah.
Two-part Steve Martin documentary coming to Apple TV March 29th. I read the Steve Martin book a while back. It's really good. His Born Standing Up, I think, is what it's called. It's really good. Ross Bristow says Seth Rogen. I'm going to disagree with you on that one.
Although because Freaks and Geeks, they were kids. Excuse me, Freaks and Geeks.
But he did have like full sideburns when he was probably like 15, 14. But so did I. Yeah. So I don't know. Somewhere in between there. Ian McShane, always old. Always.
Always. Yeah. All I see when I think of Ian McShane, I just see Deadwood, and I can't. He just looks the same as he did in Deadwood. Exactly the same.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. Let's talk some TV. What other? Do we have any other news? That
no, I think we covered it all. Oh no. Oh, quick update. If we forgot to mention it, Severance is back filming. It's been a long hiatus. It's been a long time since Severance season 1. One of my favorite shows. They're finally back. They put out an image of Adam Scott running through a hall back at the office. So Severance is back in production, which is good news. I can't wait for season 2. Josh, did you get into it? Was that too weird for you? You didn't like it, or what was it?
I'm gonna say something I've probably never said about a show before.
Thanks.
I've never turned on a show and turned it off quicker than Severance.
That's bad
in my life. I think I David, when I say I gave it a minute, that might be generous.
Okay.
2 minutes, maybe. I mean, I lost time because I was just like, oh, no.
Not a Macuga show. Not a Macuga show. Nope. Okay.
I mean, I probably turned off like anime quicker, right? But I never even turned it on, so I don't know why. But yeah. MKS Songbird, Aaliyah Shawkat, Gwendolyn Christie, Merritt Weaver, John Noble among season 2 cast additions to, I'm guessing, to Severance.
Yes. I think they did a few announcements. I only saw the picture of Adam Scott in motion running down the hall, but yes, I'm very excited about that show.
You're not the first person, and you're not gonna be the last person to bring up Severance to me, but I'm not. Not Rick Morris. It's weirder than Mr. Robot. Yeah.
I mean,
after season 1 of Mr. Robot, I couldn't take the voiceover anymore. I couldn't take that entire show. I loved season 1 of Mr. Robot. I thought it was really cool, and then it legit jumped the shark so hard. But Severance, I mean, I knew what it was going to happen in that show by like the first 2.5 minutes, and I didn't want to be a part of it. I was like, this is not for me. I don't want it.
Random thing just popped in my head. I just have to this because we're talking about Denzel. So there was that movie that came out a few years ago. Speaking of Mr. Robot, Denzel, that movie that came out, it was HBO only. I think it was during COVID, so it went straight to HBO. It had Joker in it. You know, what's his name from Matchbox 20, whatever band
Rob
he's in.
Thomas?
No, it's not Rob Thomas, but
Morbius.
Morbius. Him. Who's that? His
Jared Leto.
Jared Leto. That movie, that detective movie. Remember that came out? Remember that? It was a detective movie. No one knows sometimes.
Denzel was in it.
Denzel was in it. Mr. Robot was in it, and the Little Things. Thank you, MK Sonberg. It was called The Little Things. Not a memorable movie. Don't have to go see it. I don't really remember what the plot was. The funny thing is now, when I watch TV shows and movies, if someone's driving, I'm really focused on them because there's a green screen. They're not really driving, but most people when they drive, they got a little movement, a little of this, a little fidget with the steering wheel. Denzel in Little Things, there's a hilarious scene. He's driving. He is just straight. Nothing's moving. He is just going. Like no adjustment. Denzel is just perfectly aligned on the road, just going straight. I just started dying laughing because I've never seen someone drive on screen where they don't at least just move the steering wheel a little bit.
Driving
He's
a
just
car
going straight.
You have to hold the car straight. If you take you're constantly trying to I mean, unless you're I'm not saying like my car's alignment is off. I'm not saying go like this, like the old driving
that's not realistic.
Movies,
right?
They would drive the car like, you having fun over there? Like they're like, hey, drive the car. It at least like somewhat of a thing because most of the time, if you're not in a green screen, you're on the car is getting towed, so that you're not actually driving.
Right.
There's somebody driving your car around.
Right.
And so, you still need to act sort of like you're paying attention to the road.
Right. But Denzel is he's like, I'll try to send you a picture, but he is just straight and the steering wheel does not move. He's on the freeway. He's just moving. He's just going. He's just like the coolest driver ever. Anyway, sorry, that was a little rant. I don't know why I thought that popped in my head.
Little things.
Little things.
I don't think I saw Little Things. No. Anyway.
Yes, we can move on.
I mean, we've been waiting for this. We've been talking about the show for 3 months.
Yes,
okay, David. After the first 20 minutes, I started Googling sheepskin pilot jackets because I wanted to be. They look so cool. Okay.
So cool.
Masters of the Air on Apple TV. I'm honestly shocked that Max and HBO passed on this. I'm shocked.
Same. I should have looked at that. There is an article. I didn't pull it up. There actually is an article that I saw a headline for why HBO. I think the creators revealed why they went to Apple this time. Of course, I didn't click on it, but there is an explanation out there. I'm assuming it has to do with money because these shows are 200 million easy to make.
Yeah,
Even the old ones, the Pacific and Band of Brothers, like 200 million easy. So HBO's probably like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was for budget reasons, but it feels just like the Pacific. It has that same feel to it. It's just, you know, a couple decades later.
And because this is in Europe, I mean, I guess it's like the most obvious statement ever, but this has more of a Band of Brothers feel to me.
Agreed.
Right? Nothing will ever be Band of Brothers. It's, I mean, in my opinion, the greatest miniseries ever, and it's not close. But this is as close as we've come to Band of Brothers in the first 2 episodes. Now,
agreed.
Austin Butler's Elvis accent aside, okay.
Well, Jack, fill the folks in on. There's been some news developments. Austin has come out and talked about the accent. So
Okay. So for those that, I mean, Austin Butler obviously played Elvis in that Elvis movie. Did he get nominated for an Oscar, or was it just
Oscar nominee? Austin Butler. Yes, he was nominated.
Okay.
Yes.
Now he hasn't been able to like not be Elvis in the way he speaks since that movie. I didn't see Austin Butler in much before it, but I would really like somebody to edit a video together of like pre-Elvis and post-Elvis, because everywhere he goes now, he just smolders like Elvis, and he talks, and even worse, he talks like him. So apparently his team got together, because obviously he's a super handsome guy. He's great in this. He's known now, but he can't keep being Elvis. So his team went and got a vocal coach for him to trying to get him to not speak like Elvis anymore. Okay. Now, if you're talking about method actors, this is an issue.
That's method. Because I mean, even Tom Hanks, he doesn't sound like Forrest Gump. Like that didn't like linger in more movies. He didn't keep sounding like Forrest Gump.
He wasn't on the island going like, me and Wilson were best bud friends. I created fire. I found this ice skate and I knocked my tooth out. Like he did that one. But Austin Butler is in, like he's like, I'm from Casper, Wyoming. Like you're from Memphis. You sound like you're from Memphis, you big dumb dummy. And he's supposed to. Again, this show is so good in spite of the Elvis accent. I feel like halfway through the writing and like the acting, the writers got together and like, we can't have him talking any more scenes. He just has to smolder. Like he can only do like the Roger, like flaps up, flaps down, Roger. Because when he starts talking to his buddy, he's like, I'll tell you what, like, should have told me. You should have told me them. You went up before. You should have told me what it was like. Like you figure he's gonna break out in like nothing but a hound dog, killing Nazis all the time. He's up in that plane. He's like, "You feeling all right about flying this plane?" Like, stop it. Stop talking like Elvis.
It is. Every time he speaks. So my in-laws are staying with us. So Michelle's mom is here and her husband, and it's just funny whenever we're watching that. We watched the first 2 episodes, all of us together, and everybody enjoyed it, but we all cracked up every time Austin would say something, because I told them that story, so they were looking for it, listening for it. Like, he does sound like Elvis. Like,
so Elvis. I'm telling you, when he puts that pin in the Casper, Wyoming, I was watching with my father-in-law. He's like, Casper, Wyoming. He's from Memphis. He has to like at least go with like Memphis or something. Like Casper
or Virginia, anywhere in the South. He could somewhere down there.
Alabama, Mississippi, even Florida, for Christ's sake. I mean, in all of these World War II shows, I don't know if you've noticed, nobody's from Florida. I don't think anybody lived in Florida in the 40s. I think
there's always so many New Yorkers. Like
they all have
Barry Keoghan is from New York. They're all New Yorkers. I like his character.
Yep.
Also, I just want to say I love Anthony Boyle plays Crosby. Crosby is the narrator of everything. Yeah. He has motion sickness.
Yeah,
he's puking up there. It's hilarious. It's like you're the navigator and you get, motion sickness. It's like, come on, man.
That opening scene where they're in the plane and he like navigates them to France and they get hit with the flak. The flak is terrifying. Yeah. When I will say, man, in that first episode, when his buddy. So I like the actor who plays his buddy. Who plays his buddy?
Oh, Callum Turner?
Yeah, Callum Turner.
Yeah. He's Bucky. So there's Bucky and Buck. He's Bucky.
Bucky, right? I thought we were going to start doing like a Captain America thing.
I know. It's the same thing. Yeah.
Not another Bucky, stupid. If this guy comes out with a platinum arm, I'm going to be livid. But So when they're looking at the plane after like the mission and like all that flack went through and guys died and they lost like 3 or 4 planes in that first mission, holy moly, that is like some intense stuff, because basically every one of those planes got just destroyed every single mission, and then they just like patched them up and kept flying them, and then bringing more planes and kept flying them. And
what cracks me up is them looking out the window. They're like, he's like, hey, Crosby, like, where are we? And he just looks. He's like, oh, that's France. It's like, oops. Yeah, it's like, let's turn the plane around. It's like, come on, like, there's no, GP. I mean, it's just, you think about how we fly planes nowadays. I mean, I know like the science behind flying is the same, but just the technology, GPS, all this, like, these guys are, I mean, they have maps. They're in maps, and they have rulers and their
little window, and they're like, is that it? They're like, oh, there's too many clouds. Turn around. We just went through in hell to get to this one place to bomb some damn U-boats, and you're telling me I got to friggin' turn around?
Yeah. And there's a whole argument in the show about, do we, like, the Brits would bomb at night, which is, I guess, safer. But if you bomb during the day, you can be more accurate, but it's more dangerous. So there's a lot of, I love the history.
Let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
It's just, I've thought about this for a long time. Why weren't we just flying a lot higher if the flak was hitting the plane? Like, they can't shoot. Can they shoot it higher?
I would imagine it has to do with accuracy. If I had to take a guess, like, one, how high the planes can fly, and then 2, how accurately they can drop the bombs onto their target. That's just guessing. I'm not an aviator.
If anybody
I'm no Sully.
Yeah. I'm no Sully.
I'm no Sully.
I'm Sully the pilot.
We got birds on the engines.
Over the ocean, and I flipped it in nuts, and I wasn't hungry but thirsty, and I must have crashed the plane 30 times. Hey, Kate Van D, good to see you. Joe Frisboy, sorry, and sorry about your Lions. It was a heck of a run. I really wanted them to win. That was a tough way to go.
I was rooting for the Lions. Same.
Me too. Wasn't there a rumor, legend, whatever, about Gary Oldman needing to be coached to regain his natural accent years ago? I have never heard that story, but
interesting. I've heard that, and again, I take it for a grain of salt. I've heard Mel Gibson said, because he's been doing American roles for so long, that he's kind of lost his Australian accent. Like, it's just gone.
Totally.
He just sounds like Mel Gibson now. Like, that's just normal voice. Yeah.
Well, it's like in Gilded Age when they find out the chef is from like Omaha, Nebraska. Remember? Anybody's acting like he's French.
Oh yeah. Right.
And then he's like, I'm from Wichita, Kansas. I'm like, first of all, that's not what you sound like when you're from Wichita, Kansas. That's like Chicago. Okay. Anyway, Jonathan Peck, by the way, show has Jude Law's and Steven Spielberg's sons in the show. I think that's like, I didn't know about Jude Law. I knew about Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg's son, I think, is the colonel that like gets hurt and goes out early in like this first episode.
Oh, I see here. Jude Law's son is Rafferty Law. He plays Sergeant Ken Lemons. Rafferty Law. Huh.
Didn't know.
Didn't know he had a son that old. Oh, very good.
Yeah. I feel like my buddy and I used to talk about this in LA like 10, 12 years ago. It was like, if you want to become famous, you have to get into a World War II movie. Okay. Like look at all the guys from Saving Private Ryan. Like, they all kind of became very like, I mean, if they weren't working actors already, they became working actors. Like Vin Diesel, that was one of his first roles, all that kind of stuff. But the new thing is of like, you're a celebrity's kid. You get put in one of these wartime ensemble casts, and they're like, oh, look, we found, Kurt Russell's kid. I think, wasn't he in like a war movie cast or something like that? I mean, like, all these like famous people's kids get sent in these giant casts of these war movies because people are going to go see them. And they're like, oh, that's Jude Law's kid. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, they're in a Netflix series, and then they're a heartthrob. And then they're like, all of a sudden, I'm like a teen heartthrob. It's a tale as old as time.
Smart. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Platoon. Thank you. Sulkster 1999. Boom. Sam Renzi, very random, but did anyone see Tom Brady on the Pat McAfee show today? I did.
I watched it.
Tom Brady doesn't know how to be a real person. I will say, Tom Brady in the interview, I don't know what he's going to be like in the booth for Fox. I'm looking forward to like what it's like, but Tom Brady is such like a mythical figure, and he's always been a little strange. I don't know. He got weirder that like, when you're that good and you're that famous, it's hard to be a normal person sometimes.
Yeah, like you wonder if like Michael Jordan ever tried to do commentary, like if he would be good.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would work.
Like Tony Romo was such a lovable doofus that he's great in the booth because he never won anything. You kind of wanted to win, but he was a Dallas Cowboys quarterback, right? Same as say like a Greg Olson. Like Greg Olson is great.
I like Greg Olson. Yeah,
he's great. He's great. a great tight end in the league, played all those years in the league, a
Yep.
great insight into football, but he's not Tom Brady. I mean, for you to put Tom Brady in the booth, it's you know what it's like? It's like what we talked about with the Golden Globes. It's like, in order to host the Golden Globes, you got to be famous. Okay.
Yeah.
In order to be a football, I think the reverse works against you in football. Is like, when you're that famous and you are that good at football, it's almost like people are they've rooted for you to fail for so long that they want to keep rooting for you to fail, especially in this.
I hope he messes up someone's name. Yeah.
And I mean, I'm sure he'll be great. He's freaking good at everything.
Yeah. And he took a whole year off to prep, he said. So
and I mean,
he'll be fine.
Nothing like Tom Brady getting another shot for more fucking money. Way to go, Tom.
Like $300 million deal.
Silly,
insane.
Jay Oliver. It's like if Jordan joined the NBA TNT crew with Shaq and Barkley. It doesn't work because Jordan is Jordan. He's not likable. He's not well liked by anybody.
No. There's some stories about him. Great player, great talent,
totally.
Great player.
Barry Keoghan is in Masters too. That guy's in it. Yeah, Barry Keoghan is good in it. He's in that weird movie Saltburn.
Yes.
I'm never gonna watch that. From what I was described, I'm good on that. It's crazy. He went from being a C-list actor on Nickelodeon and Disney Channel to potentially a movie star with Elvis. Master of the Air and Dune 2, by the way. He's from Anaheim. Austin Butler's from Anaheim.
Yeah, he's not from Memphis, surprisingly, Josh. No, he's from California. He's just a California boy. Yeah.
That dude with that Memphis accent is from in Irvine.
Yeah, you should go on YouTube and look up like Austin Butler's voice before, and you'll see all these interviews when he was younger. And his voice, he sounds like a California kid. He does not sound, like Elvis.
And now he's like, the flew us to England, and I've been in a plane now. Oh yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well,
my mama told me, David. My mama told me I shouldn't be flying these flying fortresses, but here I am. They call me Buck.
Oh, I love how they call them fortresses too. That's one of the things I like about them. They call them a
pretty
fortress.
Cool. Flying fortresses.
That's cool. I like that.
I mean, you were saying, I forget. I mean, MKS Songbird, I feel like is our stats guru.
Oh, Shannara Chronicles. Oh my gosh, Shannara Chronicles. Josh, did you ever watch the movie Pan's Labyrinth? Do you remember that? Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah,
fantasy series. Yes. Remember the little cute little Spanish girl Ophelia. She was the lead girl in the movie. Yeah, fantastic movie. Shannara Chronicles threw me for a loop because she stars opposite Austin Butler, and she grew up, and she's like sultry and sexual. It's very weird to watch that show because I remember her as little cute Ophelia, and then I watched Shannara Chronicles, and she's trying to get it on with Austin Butler, and I'm just like, I don't know if I should watch this, but no, it's
like
that show.
The girl from Matilda never turned into like a sex icon.
Oh yeah, I don't need to see that. Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Oh, it was like Game of Thrones, like watching what's her name grow up, and I'm like, it's just I don't. Yeah, I don't want to see that.
I get you.
Don't want to see it.
Scott Welsh Gretzky on the NHL and TNT has been pretty solid. Yeah, but Wayne Gretzky is kind of different because Wayne Gretzky was actually likable. He also bounced around everywhere, and he didn't he wasn't a villain. Gretzky was never a villain, right? I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's just hard to explain how people. I don't know. I mean, they're saying like Kobe Bryant was going to be on the NBA after he retired. Kobe Bryant at least had like more of a personality. Tom Brady was never like even when he cried when he was talking about his hero, like it was his dad. Everybody's like, it seems like a fake cry.
What I want to see from Brady and Jordan's, I want to see those guys unedited. I don't want to see it on TNT. I want them like HBO to have it. Just let those guys like Brady, Tiger, just talk trash, unedited. Let the F-bombs just fly. Like that's all I want to see. I don't want to see the edited. They can still donate to charity and all that stuff, but I just want to see those guys.
It's why I wanted the match between Tiger and Phil was so boring, that first one, and they've all been boring since, except for like the JT one it's actually the one with Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, because they actually were talking trash. You need somebody that can go at those guys, right? And the trash talking, because they're going to do another one here in a couple weeks with like Lexi Thompson and Rose Zhang and somebody else. Is like they're boring. They're boring unless they can go at each other. It's boring. I love making fun of people on the golf course, right? And if I'm told that that's what I'm supposed to do, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to go at you. And because even if I choke, it's totally fine. I mean, it is what it is. You need to create an entertainment product. And I mean, that's why I've always thought mic up all of the NBA and like all of the NFL guys. I want to hear the swearing, the yelling, and the thing. I know it's like you got to protect the shield, but at this point,
because you get that when you watch, Hard Knocks on
yes,
HBO. You get the like. I want that like have like a separate broadcast that's on HBO. It's like the unedited TVMA, whatever you have to do. But I'd love to have an unedited broadcast. Yeah. Anyway.
Jay Oliveria, Tom Brady would be a great British host for a show like The Weakest Link. I think you're thinking more of like an Aaron Rodgers. Like he was the very boring Jeopardy host, but I think that those two guys, because they are such smug a-holes, they're really good at like, you are the weakest link, goodbye. Because it's Tom Brady. He's better than you. He's better than you. Yeah,
it's true. That's true.
Well, we have 2 minutes left in the program, David. I will say I'm very much looking forward to all these episodes of Masters of the Air. This was the one thing that hit me while I was watching it was the budget kind of thing, was them getting all of those old airplanes. Like some of that is green screen, but a lot of that is actual practical. Like they found those airplanes, they have those airplanes, they got them working and they moved them. And when they're in the air, that's CGI. But I don't know, man.
Those close-ups, No, the show looks fantastic. I love I want one of those flight jackets. Leather jackets, I found out, those are not cheap.
Like the real legit ones?
Real leather jacket. Yeah, like those are
$1,300.
Those are not cheap. Yeah, but they look great. Yeah. Love it.
Would I look cool in them? I don't think so. When would I wear them? I don't know, but I want one.
Add Masters of the Air to one of the better opening credit sequences, because those are, Band of Brothers has one of my favorites, but this one's awesome too. Love it. Great opening credits.
All right. Let's do like a little quick rundown. What else you're watching? Love Gilded Age. Here's the question I want to know, David. And I brought it to a man. I was like, at what point did we stop, like, as people, we wear tuxedos all the time? And like when a person enters the rooms, like, may I present David and Michelle Griffin? Like, when did that stop? Because all this proper stuff and like the class stuff, I understand we had to get past that so people could have some freedom and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
But because I personally was like, I feel like we should get dressed up more often sometimes. Like the formality that we've lost, like wearing sweatsuits on an airplane. It's kind of like, I'm not asking you to wear a suit on an airplane, but like it's presentable.
I like all that stuff. My parents always tell me back in the day, when you went on an airplane, you got dressed up because it was like it was an event when you went on a plane. You got dressed up. Now it's just pajamas but also it's just not comfortable on the plane. It really is, unless you're in business class. It's just not comfortable.
Just like I always think like one day somebody was like, hey, by the way, we're not going to announce you when you come in the room anymore. I'm like, okay. Or do we fight back? Like, when did that, like
Mr. and Mrs. Josh and Amanda Macuga?
Yeah. Mr. Yeah, like they're fighting over like box seats in a friggin' opera. I don't know. I love the fact that I'm obsessed with this show that really is about nothing. It's just about these people and how rich they are.
Yeah. Well, I love it. And that's what Julian Fellows is so good at. In Downton Abbey, he would do the same thing. He would break down, like, there's a dinner jacket, and then there's an afternoon jacket. There's an after dinner outfit. And then there's what you wear in the morning and like the clothing. Like in Gilded Age, in the first season, you see the guys talking about how the cutlery is presented. Like, this is not the British way. This is the American way, which is not the right way. Like all that stuff. It's great.
Yeah. Jeff Davis, 2 minutes left. Can you give an update on when these are going up? First TV talk I've caught in 7 years. We're here every single Tuesday, man, 5 p.m. Pacific.
Yeah.
We've been going for like the last few months. When did we start? Like September?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, every now and then we might take a week off or something, but every Tuesday at 5 o'clock Pacific time. Yeah.
And then they just go right up on YouTube. Yeah. Okay, let's do a David, I'm gonna go first. I started Griselda, and I love the narco shows, and I gotta give it to Sofia Vergara. Talk about like a really good she's doing a great job, and I'm a fan of all these kind of shows. I watched the documentaries about her, but I'm into this. I like the scripted stuff, so I'm gonna recommend Griselda. I was cautiously optimistic, and I'm happily surprised.
Agreed. I watched the first episode. I love the makeup. She looks a little different, the prosthetics, all that. I was surprised. I always think of Sophia as a comedic actor. Yeah. So
because that's all she
can do some drama. She's good.
Yeah.
My pick of the week, I'm going with something that's not out yet. David. Oh, please introduce. Thank you. I'm going to go Sunday. I'm already looking ahead to Sunday. I'm looking at Curb Your Enthusiasm, the final season. I think it's must-see TV. It's one of my favorite comedies of all time. Larry David is George from Seinfeld.
It's so shocking to me.
It's 12 seasons. 12.
Yeah,
Crazy.
it's so shocking to me that you don't watch a lot of comedies, but that is one of your favorite ones.
I think because I love Seinfeld, and it reminds me of Seinfeld.
Yeah, totally.
So I think that's it. Also, another show that Josh we touched on earlier, Criminal Record, loving it. Check that out on Apple TV Plus. Very good show.
You got it.
Yeah.
I real quick. I have really. I'm about 2 episodes in to this. I know I'm way behind, but I'm 2 episodes into this season of Yellow Jackets, and I think that show is kind of underrated. I've really actually enjoyed that show. It's weird, it's strange, but it's kind of well done.
Is season 2 good? I only saw season 1.
Yeah, so far. I mean, I'm only 2 episodes in, but I've liked it. Yeah.
Okay. Leo, real quick, he said, Supergirl. We have a House of the Dragon star, Millie Alcock, who she plays the young version of. I don't remember all the Game of Thrones names.
Supergirl, or is he making a joke because I hate?
No. There's a Supergirl. There's a Supergirl movie. It's part of the new DC James Gunn universe that he's doing over there, and we have a House of the Dragon star. So great, that's great. We'll see. Yeah. I liked her in House of the Dragon. She was good, so we'll see. I hope it's good.
I didn't even know there was a Madam Web coming out. I watched it. I thought it was a joke trailer. I had no idea.
I don't even see that.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, for David Griffin, Josh Macuga, go out, text somebody, call somebody, tell them you love them. It matters. Choose positivity. It's an active choice. It's way to love than hate. Find the good. Put down the book. Pick up the remote. We'll see you next time, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern.